Good morning. This is your 3x3. That's another 4x4 for the second week of June. We get some interesting stories this week, a little bit off the path on a few of them. So first one, Chinese automaker NIO claims it has completed 500,000 battery swaps as of the end of May, a little over 2 years after it started and opened its first swap station. It now has 131 stations across 58 Chinese cities. So what you do is you take your NIO in and the cartridge gets pulled out, another one slams in with a machine, and it takes about 3 minutes, which gets you roughly 300 miles of range in that 180 seconds. For comparison, its ES8 SUV 70 kilowatt hour battery pack gets 60 miles of range in 10 minutes with a 90 kilowatt charger, which is a pretty large charger in its own right. That beats the heck out of all fast charging stations this swapping technology does. And the fastest ones now are 350 kW, but they can't touch a 3-minute time frame like that. Many years ago, Shai Agassi burned through hundreds of millions of dollars with his company Better Place with a similar swapping type technology that he was putting into Israel and a few other places, but they just couldn't make it happen and get the industry to pick up on it. It's hard to see, even though this is so much more convenient, it gives you that holy grail gas station type of experience where you're getting all this fuel in 3 minutes. It's kind of hard to see how an entire electric vehicle industry will shift over to this approach since they've already invested so much in charger networks and even more in the architectures for built-in batteries that sit at the bottom of most cars. So, great idea, probably won't get the traction. Whether the company's still going to be around and occupying a niche in 5 years, we'll see, but I don't think it's going to take over the whole space just because there's so much invested infrastructure with all these other automobile companies. But we will see more EVs being adopted, and certainly in a place like Germany, which is now indicating that post-COVID, part of their stimulus package is going to involve $6,000 a euro subsidy towards the cost of EVs. But more importantly, Germany is looking at mandating that all gas stations have to offer EV charging. This will take away the issue of range anxiety. To date, as of March, Germany had about 28,000 electric vehicles countrywide, and its Association for the Energy and Water Industry indicates that they believe that in order to get to a mass market, you need 70,000 public charging stations and 7,000 of those on the Autobahn being fast charging. This kind of mandate helps to get them there. And if it does, and if other nations as well adopt more beneficial electrification, EV, other types of approaches that push hydrocarbons out of the way, there's an estimate from London-based think tank Carbon Tracker that says that a future might see the large hydrocarbon companies at risk of seeing as much as 2/3 of their value, which would be $25 trillion, wiped off of their books as a consequence of the forthcoming energy transition. It's no question, however this goes, we're talking tens of trillions of dollars, way bigger than the Industrial Revolution as we move to decarbonize our energy industries. The pandemic perhaps gives us a sneak preview of what happens when oil demand contracts. In this particular case, we just went through really suddenly. Regardless, whenever you hear of a new oil field being discovered, perhaps the most appropriate response in the future is going to be a shrug of the shoulders and a so what. Things never going to get burned anyway. So it's certainly not a good time to be an oil major or a petrostate. Worth watching to see how quickly some of the market caps of those companies begin to decline as this transformation becomes more and more concrete and visible to investors and players in the space. It's going to take more EVs and other tech to do it, though. And for the last story, what? Suddenly New York thinks it's Texas? Regulators in New York, after 2 years, just approved a $454 million, 340 megawatt wind farm spanning 30,000 acres southeast of Buffalo. That is definitely a Texas scale project, and it'll start getting built in the next few years. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a healthy week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.